Good day, everyone, and welcome to episode 219 of Too Boldly Watch.
With special guest Patrick Stewart?
Yeah, ooh, it's like he's here in the studio.
I'm Ensign Becca Scott.
I am Commander Jake Michels.
I'm a crew person, Xander Jeanneret.
I thought you were the crazy uncle that lives in the replicator.
Yeah. No, I'm the one that's in the holodeck. Nobody really knows why I'm in there.
Xander was all clones.
Yeah. Clones?
Clones?
Clones? No, wrong episode.
Oh yeah.
This is the one where there's someone accidentally falls in love with a hologram.
It happens a lot. Anyway, get on your dress robes, everybody.
Ooh, that's right. Get your dress uniforms on and your shiny fish outfits as well, because it's Manhunt. Episode 219 of the second season. Lwaxana Troi arrives on the Enterprise intent on finding a husband.
I'm really glad that we've brought in the W into Lwaxana.
Because she pronounces it in this episode. She's like, I am Lwaxana Troi.
Yeah, she'd come back in. Really, she'd adapted the way people had messed up her name so often. Right. And this episode, she was like, I am in my phase. We are going to go with all the syllables of my name. I am Lwaxana Troi.
Yeah.
This is the year where I really hit that W hard.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to her husband?
You mean Deanna
We met
Troy's
him
father?
Before. Daddy Troy. He was around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
So did he die, or when a woman goes through the phase, is she
consumed him and is powered by his
mantis.
Essence?
I see. Okay, that tracks for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, where is your husband?
She referred to him several times.
Right.
And in the past tense, we don't know.
Something happened.
I don't think it was good.
I don't remember. Okay, so the first time we've seen Lwaxana Troi was in the first season, right? When Troy was supposed to be betrothed to that handsome, dorky prince on a distant planet, right?
Thank God he sketched a doodle of his long-lost love, and Troy wasn't it.
It was that, Hairspray commercial. Long, luscious, blonde locks.
He fell in love with that Hairspray commercial.
Yeah. And cheekbones.
And then she was kind of an obnoxious character. This is the one where I think she started to come into be much more enjoyable.
Really?
I thought she was hilarious in this.
This was her at her most obnoxious for me.
Well,
yes.
It's good thing you weren't on that bridge,
midlife.
Jake, because with that sort of reception, you'd be in trouble. Mildly amused, she'll take it.
Yeah.
I think both Xander and I said this before, but I don't know if I don't want to speak for you, Xander, but I did not like Lwaxana Troi as a kid. I thought she was an annoying part of Star Trek. And as an adult, she's grown on me. And this episode is where it started because pretty much like from her entrance, she's kind of not taking herself too seriously. I love that she thought she lost her legs when she transported them.
There were a lot of choices that Majel Barrett made that you could tell were kind of fun on set at the time that they maybe just included.
Yeah, I think so.
And
I was
having a great time, and I like that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like she's really kind of went for it this episode, and I like that. I mean, I like that she's always kind of on the manhunt because that's who her character rapidly becomes in later episodes, as I recall. She's kind of permanently in this phase in a way.
Yeah, and as you recall, so am I.
Right.
I'm holding up my Miles O'Brien doll.
She never really went after O'Brien.
Shocking. Weird.
Upsetting.
Yeah.
She had her sights higher.
Though everybody's legs do look better in a dress uniform.
I will say he can wear some tights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Captain Picard is king of the tights for sure.
Actually, I never noticed that about the uniform, that it shows so much calf work.
What I thought was
cool really, the normal uniform is skin tight, so don't know how much difference there is, but
you got to see like the boots connected to the tight type of thing. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, they could have done a pan up shot, but they just did a full-on ankle shot that was supposed to be very arousing. And for Lwaxana, it was.
Right?
It was supposed to be very arousing. I imagine you as a producer, Becca, in that meeting just being like, okay, we need the hottest ankle shot I've ever seen.
then that's your bar. Meet it or go home, people. Come on, camera department. I need sexy ankles. God, I should direct. My other takeaway, I need to get working on some Lwaxana cosplay because her outfits in this episode are out of this world. The jeweled gowns in every scene.
As a kid, I didn't like Deanna Troi, and thus Lwaxana was sort of an extension of that. But what I did like and what I continue to love are the outfits, and I am here for them.
And they come in this big old piece of luggage, and we get some Riker comedy, which we never get Riker doing funny bits.
Right?
That was great. He's like, don't worry, I got this. And then he can't lift it. That's wonderful.
What's the name of her silent assistant? Hume? Home?
Mr. Home.
Home. Yeah. You know what I just realized? So there's like this urn where her clothes are in that's too heavy to lift, but it must be some sort of shrink, take the oxygen out of all the dresses and pack them very tightly for that small package to have so many dresses and be so heavy.
It could be a box that's bigger on the inside. Who knows?
It's just a dress replicator inside.
It's a TARDIS closet.
Fantasies just formed right now.
Well, I think you're actually hitting on what could be the actual case, is that it's a piece of technology that replicates clothing, and it's just large and bulky and heavy for like a starship that she carries around.
I believe that.
My mind is blown.
And also, where can I get one?
Yeah.
Lwaxana Troi also references how many thoughts men have about her all the time. And I also love, what was her opening line about Mr. Hom? She's like, yes, I've retained his services despite the outlandishly lustful thoughts he spews in my direction. And he never speaks ever. And he's like the most like apathetic person, and like she thinks he's too horny.
I think that was our clue into Lwaxana as an unreliable narrator, because we hear over and over and never really disputed, but just she's like, Picard, you keep having these salacious thoughts about me.
Yeah.
Boosting her own self-confidence and sort of projecting that, but he's never like, no.
He never shows any interest.
He doesn't say anything in response. Yeah. And there's a scene in the conference room where Troi says she's a really adept telepath, but not right now because the phase is messing with her brain.
Right.
Yeah, she sees
women with menopause.
She sees lust everywhere she goes. Well, it's like menopause, right? Except it's what is it? It could quadruples their sex drive. When Riker revealed that, and his smile, he's like.
Also, I wasn't too big of a fan of Riker explaining Betazoid physiology when Deanna was sitting there doing the explaining, and Riker's like, okay, so actually they become super horny. And Deanna's like, yeah, I was getting there.
I feel like the reason that they had both of them explain that because they had already been in a relationship. It's like, we know a little bit about this, so we're going to get you through this, buddy.
Yeah.
Actually... correction, we don't know that their relationship ever ended.
All
we know is that they have hooked up in the past and they may be continuing to hook up in the future, and to both of them it's like a more casual thing, and I think that was made possible by this episode. And there was a comment that Deanna made to her mother about monogamy, and she said, humans no longer own each other that way, mother. So humanity is now got a polyamorous culture.
Yeah, if you check the personnel logs of like their profiles, it does say it's complicated.
Man, it's so funny that Facebook made that a thing. Now I'm not even
standard Starfleet regulation. Yeah, I also noticed now more than ever the black context, because Magel's eyes really were pools of blackness. You know, with Marina Sirtis's hair and her already kind of darker features, it kind of blends in really nicely and looks like brown eyes. But man, with like Magel's red hair, it definitely stands out.
They gave her like bigger context, being like full Betazoid as opposed to.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because Deanna is half.
Oh, right.
So it could be bigger than her actual irises. Yeah. And that's why it feels weird.
Like the fish dudes. We didn't even really mention them. So there's
oh yeah.
The whole reason we started this episode was because of these ambassadors that are coming on board. Ambassadors we learned Delegates. Yeah, that's a better word, I think. What did you say?
Fish sticks.
Fish sticks.
Fish fingers. And
I also laughed at this episode with Worf's admiration for them. He's like,
he
loves
loves
race.
Yeah, it was good.
And they're just like these ugly stoic things. Fun fact, actually, one of those people is a famous musician. Do you guys know Fleetwood Mac?
Heard of it?
Yeah.
Mac Fleetwood is one of those.
No way.
He got a cameo in the episode, but he wanted to be unrecognizable, so here he is.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing was just about how ugly they were the whole time.
Right.
I feel like that's not the first time or the last time that happens. I mean, especially with Whoopi Goldberg kind of getting integrated in. People are like, oh, if you just say you're a fan, they could kind of get you in there.
Yes. One thing I didn't mention during what episode was it? It was the one where Worf goes through puberty again on his anniversary, and Riker has something going on. The Klingons that are in that row that with the pain sticks. One of those was John Tesh.
Who's that?
He was like the host of Good Morning America or like one of those morning shows.
Yeah.
And he's also, I mean, he did a ton of stuff, but he's kind of like a broadcaster. But he actually did like a behind the scenes feature during the filming of that, and then got to be a Klingon in it.
I feel like Tom Bergeron was like that too. Like something, I don't know. Something rings that bell.
Tom Bergeron. Oh, interesting.
Well, just to tie back the plot elements, if people haven't seen it in a while, the reason Lwaxana Troi is on is because she is somehow some fancy ambassador for Betazoids, despite her lustful intentions. She does have an actual diplomatic purpose. She's like a top diplomat for Betazoids. So that's why she's also waiting for the fish people to come out of their stasis.
Because there's a conference that they're all
for
going
conference
to
time.
Pacifica.
Yeah. So we have technically all these emissaries on board, but really there's two main plots, which is that these fish people it's really not even about the fish people. It's that Lwaxana Troi is nearing her midlife, or she's in her midlife, where her sex drive goes bananas, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And it's really also about Picard getting away from her, because she sets her sights on poor Picard.
Love it. What's the best thing in the world? Dixon Hill's office, baby. Let's get there. You need me to be gone for a couple of hours? I think I have an idea.
Well, it's funny because the thing that he experiences, I feel like, relates to Twitch streamers as well, because I have had that feeling of like, I want to log on and play a game and just chill and relax, and all of a sudden the game gets very intense, and it's like, cool, let's switch to a different game, and then that game gets very intense.
Yeah.
I just wanted to chill.
Yeah. Or like I left off at a really hard part of the game. I'm like, man, I just need to turn on my brain for a minute. And then I'm like, oh, dear God.
This is worse.
Straight into the gun pulling phase, when really Lwaxana is enough of a
stress
woman.
inducer. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Picard forgot everything about Dixon Hill novels.
Yeah.
Like, what he's read all these, he knows they all have violent natures. Like, he's like, just rewrite it more like atmospheric, and then people come in with guns and try to kill it.
But this
Computer's
also...
like, I'm literally going off the books. Did you completely forget what you read?
Would you like something more childlike? Dr. Seuss, perhaps?
Well, there's a couple of things that are going on here too that I find are interesting. One, we see the characters finding the limits of the holodeck, and because we've seen a lot of lofty things, including them creating a sentient AI essentially, where this is like something that they keep running up against, something that it can't intuit what Picard really wants to do. And two, both the scenes with Lwaxana and then this, she's talking to herself, because Major Barrett is the voice of the computer. So even though Picard is in the holodeck, he's still talking to Major Barrett.
I didn't remember that. That's so funny.
Well, yeah, she has a scene where she talks to herself, because when she's asking for directions, the computer talks to her, and she's like, how do I find it?
Light.
Yeah, and she's so complimented and enthused that the light is leading her. Where has she been living where they don't have high enterprise-worthy technology?
Well, these are the best computers that they are, and boy, do they have a great voice.
Oh, gosh, they sure do. Well, we get a little bit more with Madeline, the receptionist at Dixon Hill's office.
Madeline.
She's a lot of fun. Yeah. And you know what? He decides that going to the bar is just the move for him. And he asks Madeline, and she says, well, there's no problem, except it's the first time you asked.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. I just like her.
Yeah.
She was great, and for a small part she had, I thought she like was one of the more fun parts of that environment, including all those gangsters that come in. So
were they references like some of the same actors from the previous Dixon Hill?
Well, wasn't in the first Dixon Hill there a guy outside his office holding a newspaper with gloves on, and he like was that something I misremembered? I feel like that was always a theme. He's always like he sees a shady character on his way in. Who might become a problem later. So actually, that's the second guy that comes in after he resets the holodeck. I don't know if you. Oh my gosh, those eyes, right? I don't know if you recognize him, Xander, but he actually is an actor that's going to become a major recurring character on both Star Trek and TNG.
Steve Buscemi.
It's not Steve Buscemi.
No.
I mean, you don't know the actor, but this guy will later play a Klingon character named Gowron, who's
that explains the eyes.
Yeah, right?
Gowron, he's got those eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. They were like, hold on, you could rock a lot of makeup. And
he does.
He really does. Those eyes were intense.
Yeah.
So I won't spoil it for you, Becca, but he becomes a pretty major plot point in future episodes regarding the Klingon Empire. So we'll get to him soon. But yeah, that's his first appearance as that guy.
Like tiny bug-eyed Klingon.
But yeah, we get a bunch of violent options. Picard says, no, let's just go to the bar. And so we go visit Rex's bar. Rex, the character with no last name, because he's like, I've never thought about it. I guess I don't have a last name.
Yeah.
I love those little nuances they drop in there. It's like, oh yeah, this isn't real.
Right. And the fact that Rex doesn't find it weird. I just don't got a last name.
It's just the way it goes. Yeah. But like Picard still forgets. I feel like he forgets to play. Like the whole reason he came here was to relax and get away from it. And then he sits down at the bar and he tells them what happens after World War II. And they're like looking at him like he's had a snuff already. Like,
well, Jake, I don't know if you've ever sat down to play a game with other people, but as much as you strive for immersion, sometimes there's that guy that brings up shop talk when you're trying to be a wizard.
Or the one that brings up politics when you're trying to do a podcast about Star Trek. I'm sorry. Anyway, he does have a problem with indulging. And I think this goes into his relationship with Lwaxana. Why not?
His career.
When was the last time Captain Picard got laid? He's either gay or asexual. Because Lwaxana is, babely.
Babely?
So, thoughts? What do we think his... Why doesn't he just humor her and sleep with her like Riker does with everyone who comes on board?
Because she's not looking for that. She's looking for the commitment of marriage, specifically. If she was just sleeping around, Picard might.
She would have no problem getting that done.
He doesn't know that from square one, though.
Right.
I feel like Picard's dick's been on ice for a while. Like he's kind of in a sexual hibernation. Well, right? Like he kind of comes on as the stern, like just want to do book learning.
So nice.
No, seriously. I know we're gonna see him get romantic in future episodes, and he kind of has some. Besides that one episode where everybody has like sexual, what was it? The weird virus that came on board in the second episode.
I think it was episode 2, and that's when security officer
Tasha
Yar and Data hook up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Picard and Crusher definitely have a few sweaty moments in that episode too. But beyond that, go ahead.
Well, we're all think of where we're coming from too. In Star Trek: The Next Generation, we're coming from Captain Kirk, who was horny on Maine all the time, forever. And so this was a nice break, I think, from that, and also something to set the character apart. Because it's not something that you're really looking for in a captain, especially on a long voyage with families under the pretext that we've discarded monogamy pretty much. I
was wondering, is it not that we're not looking for it from the captain so much as we have enough stuff to develop with him as a character to necessarily force a romantic line when we have other romantic lines to explore. Yeah, Riker specifically. Yeah,
for that,
and Troy and Wesley and Data and I guess next episode, a little foreshadowing, will be Worf too. Mm-hmm. So like, there's options for a lot of people, and I guess we just don't need to do that with Picard yet. But when we get into future seasons, then we have that time.
Fair, but I do think it is a particular character choice for him to not make that choice. Like, well, why is he resisting so hard?
Yeah,
I think that is a thing of note.
But we have determined that Picard is heterosexual, at least in some sense, because he has had a relationship in the past with a woman.
The woman that came
Paris.
on to defend on the data trial. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why do you think it's of note that he would resist Lwaxana? She's just showed up and demands his attention. He's not attracted to that. She's kind of an unappealing person in terms of how selfish she is, right?
Well, that's the opposite of how you came into this episode, Jake.
I like the character. I don't identify with her choices. Like, there's plenty of people I don't agree with that I enjoy watching.
I'm the exact opposite. Character's okay, but she and I are kind of the same.
Oh, man. I'm eager to talk to 50-year-old Becca. She's going to be one hell of a character.
Yeah.
Oh, my. She's going to have some ornate dresses, I'll tell you that much.
And why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but horniness is not just horniness. She needs to own them for life. And that's why they must commit to marriage.
Yeah.
She goes under the bridge to find someone new.
Right. And like the whole fourth act, like commercial break is about how she's like, I've chosen Riker. And everybody's just like, married?
Mother, not that one. Mother, no.
But she doesn't get to just choose. Like,
yeah. But I think that
at this point.
We have seen a lot of they take alien diseases and sort of amp up the corniness of them, because that's how we can express how severe it actually is. And we've seen all of these characters sort of acquiesce to every other crew member's biological functions that they can't control. And so whenever Worf is going through something, we have the ceremony, or he's got the Klingon measles and we have to feel sorry for him. And basically, we see this as an extension of caring for Deanna, in that this is a Betazoid physiological function that she can't control. So we have to humor this as far as we can. Just go along with it, and then we'll resolve whatever shakes out in the end.
Yeah.
Like, what a great choice for a diplomat is a woman who can't like control her hormones to a level that she's proposing to men who she makes eye contact with. Like, literally, she met Rex on the holodeck and was just like, you'll do better because I can't read your mind.
Right.
Yay! Then we get to it. She comes marching after. Riker comes to give the information that the fish people are thawing out to Picard in the bar on the holodeck. And Lwaxana is like, you're the one I can't read. It's a pretty good choice, you know, when she thinks she's accurately reading everyone's minds, and in fact can read no one's mind.
Right.
I also love that Carlos and Nails were with the introduction of those characters.
And Dana got to do a full costume for nothing.
I'm sorry. Did I hear you were going on the holodeck and there's Dix and Hell going on? I'll be there in 5 minutes, Riker.
I love that.
Go without me.
That's so great. And Riker just comes in his uniform. He's like, yeah, I got this guy with me.
Pretty great.
Very good choices.
Rex is down. I think that they didn't really need to tell her he's a holodeck character. Just say you got to visit him here. Deal with it.
I wonder if Rex would have accepted.
Yes, probably.
Absolutely. He's there.
As long as he's within the parameters.
She's good looking and has bucks, right?
That's what has been
Those
described.
The two criteria.
Yeah. But you know what? All of this horniness does not interfere with Mother Troy's ability to be the best diplomat. She picks up on everything because apparently her senses are super heightened, and she immediately just throws out the B plot by saying these fish people have micro traces of explosives all over their fish costumes, and they were coming to blow up the delegation. You're welcome. I'm the best. Who's going to sleep with me? And also be my husband for life.
O'Brien? No?
O'Brien? O'Brien? And he's actually like,
maybe.
Sure. I didn't think you were going to ask me, but yes.
Keiko who?
Definitely considering.
Oh my god.
I kind of get left behind in these things.
For those of you that can't see, Becca has a O'Brien doll. Don't worry, it's an action figure. It's small. Yeah, it's not life size.
Don't worry.
That was
now. Fine.
Don't send her one.
O'Brien.
Get one of those anime pillows, the body pillows.
But they just get a Cole Meany one from maybe 1998 or something.
I'll take it.
Yeah, sure.
3, please.
Yeah.
Well, that and honestly, the episode before this, those were 2 of the horniest episodes we've seen yet. So great job. We find out they're assassins, and we tell Lwaxana the bad news, and she, I guess, will move on to other options.
Important point. She points out the evidence. They find the evidence and then are taken for questioning. It's not a precog situation where they're arrested before a crime takes place. They are.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Also, Worf should really be pretty embarrassed here because he was like all admiring them, and they totally slipped out some explosives under his watch. His very careful watch.
The best.
I think that just impresses him more.
That's true. It probably does impress him more. That's a good
point.
Yeah. Well, that was Manhunt. Next week, we have The Emissary, because the Enterprise crew encounters a Klingon sleeper ship whose occupants don't know the Federation and the Klingons are at peace.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
All right, I'm ready for next week.
Engage.